사실 이 넥서스를 읽고서 느끼는 감정은 인공지능이 얼마나 위험한가를 이제 경고하시는 거라고 생각을 합니다. 근데 이렇게 새롭게 등장한 IT 기업과 인공지능 기업들을 우리가 어떻게 하면 통제를 할 수 있을까? 이제 이 좀 방법에 대한 이야기인데 이제 그것에 대한 혹시 생각이 있으시다면 꼭 듣고 싶습니다.
It's difficult, but it is possible. We shouldn't despair of it. This is the job of governments and of citizens. The book is not an attempt to prophesize the future. It warns people about certain dangerous scenarios. And it gives people information, knowledge about the AI revolution so that more people can take part in the debate about how to develop and to regulate AI. At the present moment, very few people in very few countries understand really what is AI, what is the AI revolution. And they are taking maybe the most important decisions in human history. And they don't represent humanity. They are just a very small number of people who are usually not even politicians. As you say, they are managing of companies. And this is very dangerous. But it is possible, if enough citizens get involved, it is possible to limit the power of the big companies. You know, in the 19th century, the big companies in the Industrial Revolution, they sent children to work in factories at age 8 or 10, and instead of going to school, and they said, we have to do it, because if we don't do it, and our competitors will do it, and then we will be bankrupt. And eventually, they were stopped. If you send them to school, yes, maybe in the short term, you will make less money, but in the long term, the country will have much more educated people, and it will actually be much more rich, not poor. So that more people in more countries understand what is AI, what is the AI revolution, and can join the debate, and together we can have a political process. One person or a few people dictating everything. We have an open conversation. Different people voice their views, their interests, and we can reach some, ideally, a consensus or a common agreement about what to do.
알겠습니다.
네, 정말 과학자 중에서도 물리학자로서는 딱 어울리는 질문을 해주신 것 같아요.
Oh, yes, very much.
사실 물리학자들은 실제로 존재하는 세상을 연구하는 사람들이죠. 가상이 아니라 실제 세상을 연구하는데 아마 인공지능이 만들어낸 특히 에이전트 같은 것들이 만들어내는 것은 가상의 세상일 것 같은데 많은 결정들을 우리가 사는 실제 세상과는 상관없는 곳에서 이제 벌이기 시작할 텐데 이게 피할 수 없는 우리의 미래일까요? 아니면은 피할 수 없다면 어떤 식으로 이런 세상을 우리가 준비해야 되는 건지 생각하신 바가 있다면은 좀 들을 수 있으면 좋을 것 같습니다.
And as I said, human power comes from this large-scale organization. And large-scale organization always depended on creating a kind of virtual world. The world created from ideas and from fantasies is becoming more powerful than the physical world and the biological world. So even if you go back thousands of years, you know, one of the biggest inventions in human history was a very, very simple technological invention, which still made a big change. Mud and a stick, a piece of wood. What can you do with mud and a piece of wood? You can write. That the first writing invented in Mesopotamia, in what is today Iraq, more than 5,000 years ago. Even though this was such a simple technological invention, it completely changed the world because it created a kind of virtual reality. Things that don't necessarily exist in the physical world, but they are recorded in these clay tablets. What were these things? Property rights and tax lists and things like that. You know, before the invention of writing, ownership or property, what did it mean? But to get taxes, you need to remember who owns what and who paid their taxes and who didn't pay their taxes, and nobody could remember all that. So before the invention of writing, actually there were no kingdoms and no empires, only very small towns and villages. And this became the basis for the first empires and kingdoms in the world. So this flimsy thing, just a piece of mud, it was far more powerful in a way than the physical reality. So the same thing is happening now, but not with mud, but with silicon. That today, what does it mean that you own a house? That somewhere in a computer, there is a record that you own that house. And this is increasingly managed by AIs. So let's say that you want to prove that the house is yours, but the AI that manages the digital archives says, no, the house is not yours. That's it. You lost your house because an AI said. This is the kind of world that we are now entering, in which more and more power is in this virtual reality of just digital information managed by AI.